Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Try, Adjust, Thrive. I'm your host, Oksana Vadas, and I am not feeling too hot today. For those of you who are new to the podcast, I usually open up every episode with saying, I'm Oksana Vadas, and I'm so happy to be here. And while I'm still always happy to be recording episodes for you guys, I am a little under the weather today, and so I'm going to keep this episode a little shorter because I have to sing tonight at work for like 7 hours. Not consecutively. I have a lot of breaks, but I'm trying to save my voice as much as I can. So that being said, I'm going to keep this episode brief, but I have some really important things that I want to talk about, although it's not going to be that long. So today I've been feeling really called to discuss outgrowing things and people. And that's because I've personally been going through a lot of shifts myself in terms of the way that I want to spend my free time, the people who are entering and exiting my life. And I've just realized that, my time and my energy is so precious, just like everybody else's. And while it's important to not take life too seriously, it's also important that we're living intentionally in a way that aligns with what we believe and how we feel on the inside. And so the reason that I'm kind of thinking about this so much is because, well, for one, I've kind of been really pulled to just stop drinking. No, before you guys freak out, I didn't go and have a bender and do a bunch of dumb stuff or anything. It's nothing like that. I've kind of slowly been turned off from drinking naturally. I haven't been feeling the urge to drink alcohol as often. It always makes me feel so hungover. Even 2 drinks at this point, I'm like, Jesus, I used to be able to rally, and now 2 drinks the next day has me with severe headaches. So I'm kind of just realizing that, my body doesn't want this. It seems to be rejecting it every time I do it. And I kind of just do it socially because other people do it at this point. It's not necessarily that my friends peer pressure me. I'm like, win in Rome. And so I've been really challenging myself to kind of move against that grain a little bit, even though the people in my life might still want to enjoy alcohol, which is absolutely fine because live your life the way you want to. And I think everything's absolutely fine in moderation. Is alcohol technically a poison? Yes, but I'd rather be ingesting alcohol than heroin, right? And you know what they say, pick your poison. I'm in no way, shape, or form speaking negatively about anybody who wants to drink, because I used to drink more often because I was on that wave. And right now I'm just not really on that wave. So to make a long story short, it's kind of out for me right now. I know there was this trend in the beginning of 2024 of the ins and outs of the year. And maybe that's an out for me. Maybe I'm just not going to really indulge in liquor this year, which is, fine. And I'm not going to keep myself from drinking if a day comes and I'm like, I could really use a night out with the girlies, or I want to go on a date and I want to have some alcohol on that day. I'm not swearing alcohol off by any means. If anything, I'm just finally really honoring the impulse that I'm feeling to refrain from consuming it right now. And so that's kind of what brings me to the general theme of today's episode, which is if you're feeling some sort of impulse to just get something or someone out of your life, you have to honor it, because our bodies and our guts are so smart. I think it's so interesting how our bodies can know things before our minds do. And when you lean into that and you allow yourself to kind of explore, why I'm feeling repellent towards a person or a thing, a behavior, whatever it might be, you can really begin to uncover oh, this is not serving me. So for example, I'm not going to get into super nitty gritty details because it's personal, but I mentioned 3 episodes ago that I was happily in a relationship, and that is no longer the case. And it's fine. I'm fine, guys. But it definitely ended abruptly, and it was very messy. And he kind of, he pulled some shiitake mushrooms that weren't very cool. But anyway, so before we even broke up, I started noticing that me and this person like to spend our free time differently. And the way that this person spends his time isn't necessarily how I want to be spending my time. And by that, I mean, he was drinking more often than me. He's by no means an alcoholic, but you know, he definitely like, I drank more often when I was around him, which is not a bad thing if you want to like drink socially, but I'm not really on that wave anymore. And him and I had multiple conversations where I was, I was telling him like, I don't really feel like I'm not feeling pulled towards alcohol anymore. Like I really just don't want to consume it. And so apart from that, we were also in a long distance relationship, which just, if anybody has been in a long distance relationship, you understand and know that that requires a lot of time and planning and a lot of compromise. And that was something I was very happily ready to do. But then I started realizing, okay, so my time in New York is so precious, right? I'm here to connect with other artists. I'm here to expand my horizons. And with all due respect to this individual, because I still honor that relationship, even though it's over, I wasn't really able to throw myself into as many projects and as many things. And I realized quite literally last week when I did work on several projects with other creatives that, oh my God, this is what I want to be doing. This is like where I need to be. I need to be putting all of my energy into this right now. And like that is going to get me where I want to be. And I kind of realized like it's been really nice to not be focusing on this relationship. And I'm not saying that like you should always be focusing on a relationship. I'm also not saying that you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like you can make a long distance relationship work while you're doing your own thing in a completely different city. I'm totally not saying you can't. Every relationship is different, but we weren't even like 6 months into our relationship. We hadn't built the necessary foundation in order to then do long distance and be like, all right, babe, like we have to like understand that we're just not going to talk for like days at a time sometimes because we're doing our own thing, It's so in that respect, there were a lot of factors that led me to realize this is not serving me anymore. And again, with all my respect to this person, I realized that if I really want to get to where I want to get, and if I want the opportunities that I came here to get, then I need to be willing to admit that perhaps I've outgrown this relationship. And outgrowing relationships, romantic or platonic, that can be tricky if there's no messy ending. It's really easy to just like have a messy ending and then be like, all right, sayonara, friend, like good riddance. But it's a lot more difficult to, lean away from people who didn't mistreat you and just like have a graceful ending or have at least a graceful distancing from energies that are no longer serving you, right? Because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't want anyone to feel like they're dragging you down, but you also need to put yourself first. And it's really important for any of us who have goals and dreams, which I'm pretty sure all of us do. It's important for us to be honest with ourselves and have to put ourselves first every now and then. And you guys know that I've spoken about this before in the past. It is so important to know when to be selfish. And you can hate on me for having this perspective. Go ahead. I don't care. I think that being selfish is one of the most selfless things that you can do for yourself, because it's hard to be selfish sometimes. Like people think that it's easy to just like cut ties with people, to like do things for yourself and to sacrifice important relationships or sacrifice habits or routines because you need to level up, because you want to level up. That's not easy to do. It requires sacrificing a certain part of yourself that has the urge to people please. So can we please just lean in to healthy selfishness, because it's a thing. Healthy selfishness means putting yourself first so that you can show up better for the world around you. And that is a superpower when you can bring yourself to do it and not apologize for putting yourself first, and not apologize for pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, because that's what it is. It's a comfort zone. Everyone wants to people please until they learn not to. But then once you learn how to not people please and you practice it for long enough, you realize, oh my God, I would never go back to people pleasing, because it's such a waste of your energy. And at the end of the day, I bring this up every now and then because it really is so true, and it's a cold, hard reality of life. But like, we only have so much time on this planet. And recently, I actually watched a TikTok that somebody made where she was talking about this, and she was like, the only thing on this planet that is not renewable is time. Time is the only thing that you can't make back. You can always make more money. You can always make more friends. You can always find another job. You will never get time back. So use it wisely and stop procrastinating and do the things that you want to do and push yourself outside of your comfort zone and just live your life to its fullest, and like stop fearing failure so much, because one day you're going to reach a point where you wish that you tried. And the last thing that you want to do is resent yourself because you didn't try. And even though the title of this podcast is literally called Try, Adjust, Thrive, I also struggle with getting out of my comfort zone and pushing myself to do the things that I really want to do. That's kind of why I made this podcast in the first place. And so when I watched that TikTok, I like it literally like kicked my booty into line. I was like, hold up. She's so right. She's so right. And I just turned 25. I'm still so young, but like, it's also crazy to me that I'm already 25. And like, I've been very grateful to have a mindset of embracing aging. I'm not really afraid of getting older or getting wrinkles or any of that stuff. Like maybe I will be once the time comes, but what's the point of fearing something that's inevitable, you know? So I'm not necessarily afraid of losing time, but it definitely just like really, really got to me that, oh my God, I need to be living my life the exact way that I feel is right now. And that's why it's so important to connect to our intuition, because like I was saying, it is so informative to what we should be doing. Don't doubt your gut, guys. It's not trying to trick you. Like, it's not trying to get in your head and convince you to do things that are going to be bad for you. For me, for instance, the relationship that I was in just ended, and it ended messily. And it didn't even last for that long. But I had a strong gut feeling that I should date this guy. I didn't know why, but I was just like, I think it's time for me to get out there and date. And I haven't been in a relationship in 2 years. Since like before this guy came into the picture. And honestly, even though it wasn't the most graceful ending, I will not regret dating this person, because he opened my heart back up in a way that I didn't know I needed. And honestly, he taught me how I deserve to be treated for the most part. And he helped me grow into a better version of myself. Even though the relationship ended, and even though we're no longer going to be together, I'm still going to cherish the fact that I grew so much. And I would hope to think that I benefited him in some way, shape, or form. And I taught him some life lessons. And, you know, like embracing your gut instincts can help you just flourish in life. Even if what you're feeling called to do doesn't last forever, most things in life don't last forever. Let's be real. Like going back to the whole alcohol thing and wanting to be a sober girly, I'm going to not drink until I feel the genuine impulse to want to drink. And like I don't need to put like a red X on it or anything, or fear that I'm going to fuck up, because there's no fucking up. It's just follow your impulse, follow your gut, go with the flow. Going with the flow is one of the most amazing things that I've learned from life, because it clears up so much freaking anxiety. It's like, I don't know if I should do this thing. No, maybe I should do this thing. I don't know if I should be with this person or not. I don't know. Okay, well, like, let's look at our emotions towards that thing. Do you like it? Do you feel good about it? Or do you feel apprehensive about it? Does it make you feel dysphoric? Does it make you feel not good? And then there's your answer. It could be as simple as that. Like, oh my God, for the longest time, I was overthinking, like, do I want to be a performing artist? Do I not want to be a performing artist? Oh my God, do I want to shift careers? And then I forced myself to just sit down with my journal and really reflect on how it made me feel to perform, to be on stage, to engage with audience members. And I realized, holy shit, I love this. Like, this is my bread and butter. This makes me feel amazing. This makes me feel charged. Like, there's a lot of work in this world that is an energy taker for me. And performing is such an energy giver. And it's a beautiful thing because I get to give energy to others and benefit others and put on a show for them, but it also provides me with energy. And like, I had to really internalize that and realize, oh my God, that's my answer. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know to move forward with this craft that I've been honing for literally the better half of my life. So yeah, I mean, this has been a very rambly episode, but I really hope that a lot of the things that I said resonated, because we all have things in our lives that we overthink. We also have a lot of things in our lives that we might want to be rid of, or we might feel guilty for cutting out. Just remind yourself that nothing is permanent and you can change your mind whenever you want, but do not do the disservice to yourself of not honoring your current feelings, because that is going to bite you in the ass. That's going to keep you from developing a level of trust with yourself that you deserve to have. And the more you honor your impulses now, the more you honor the way that you're feeling and reflect on yourself and really connect with that inner compass, that inner guidance system, the better your life is going to get. Like, you have inner wisdom that you just might be afraid to tap into, but the more that you trust that inner wisdom and inner guidance system, the more it just opens your life up to where you're really supposed to be. And you're going to start feeling more aligned, and you're going to start feeling like you're finally living for you and not other people. Okay, guys. That's it. That's all I have to talk about today. It's been such a pleasure talking about all of this. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I apologize this episode was short, but your girl really needs to preserve her voice for later. I'm so grateful for all of you. All right, that is all. If you watched this video on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you watched or listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please also follow, like, and leave a rate and review, because girly pop, it helps. Seriously, guys, thank you so much. And also, I always like to ask this, please share this episode with someone you think needs to hear it, because the organic growth is one of the best ways to build a true community, and not just, random listeners who aren't really gonna jive with the vibes here. All right, guys, that is all. Thank you once again. I love you all. And lastly, as always, be kind to yourself. Okay, bye.